I'm going to try this again one more time from the top. Hello, we're 20 minutes in on this video. Alright, and you're going to try to cut it short after this. Welcome to Shadows of Innocence, where we deep dive into the darkest corners of Lolita. I'm Richard Stashy, and I see this story differently, through the lens of a serial killer hiding in plain sight. Fair warning, this is my opinion, my interpretation of a tale spun by an unreliable narrator, so take it as a fun theory, not fact. I'm not here to spoil the twisted minds I've uncovered, but let's just say Humford's got more blood on his hands than you might think. Stick around for a wild ride with Shadows of Innocence, and let's uncover the killer's mask. Hello everybody, this is Richard Stashy, and I am doing a repost on my Lolita video. This one is the book review that I've made. Naturally, the original video I do not have. I lost it, and I'm using the YouTube download, and it does have a slighter lesser quality than the video that I posted up there. So it does give me the opportunity to make some new edits and changes. When I posted this book review video, I've already posted a long video on the / chapter 1. So as you're watching this video, you're going to notice that I'm referencing the / chapter 1 video, and it's not posted up yet. I am going through some modifications with it, and I do want to add some newer stuff to that video that I've kind of discovered way after I posted that video, to make a long story short. Okay, so please enjoy this book review video, and hopefully you like it. Thank you. Alright. Hello everybody, this is Richard Stashy from Tinker to Tales, and today I'm going to talk about a book that's loaded with lies, a book that's very deceitful, a book that tries to manipulate the reader, as well as it forces the reader to play the detective. This book that I'm talking about is called Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. Now, from my understanding, Nabokov is a Russian-American author who is pretty famous for writing stories that are somewhat like a puzzle, and Lolita is definitely a puzzle. And as you can see in the background, I have a lot of post-it notes in the pages from me reading it. Now, this book is not for everybody, and I kind of think this book is really intended for those that want to really play the detective more than what's the story about. So if you're into like these things, like you don't mind reading the story and then trying to isolate what's going on with the words that's going on in the story, and then trying to figure out what's really happening in the story, this would be an ideal book for you. And this would have to be a book that you would probably own in a hard copy, because like I said, with this type of book you end up getting all these post-it notes in there. And I think my next round is I'm going to end up taking the markers and the Sharpies and stuff like that and start highlighting stuff within the book too. Now, the book I have is from 1959. It's a paperback, and technically this book is a lot cheaper than the brand new books, and The only reason why I got this book is because I think this cover is a little bit more appropriate than the ones that they're selling. And I know there's a big controversy about the covers of the book, which kind of like misleads the reader into what the book is about. So, what's the book about? Well, there's really two parts in this book. First, the book itself is supposed to be about Humphrey, and he's being held in captivity. And while he's being held in captivity, he's actually being held in captivity in two places. The beginning part's in an asylum, and the ending part is towards the like an isolation, like in a prison cell before he's actually going to trial. Not really isolation, but more like a prison cell going before he goes to trial. And while he's writing the book, he's also putting notations that people are watching, and he's trying to be careful with the words that he's talking about. So the aim for him while he's writing this book seems to be that he's trying to focus his argument to the jury in his trial, trying to tell them his side of the story, trying to plead his case, and trying to sway sympathy for the crime he has done. But that's what the book seems to be about. Now, upon reading it for the first time, this is what you're also going to get from this book too. So while towards the end of the book you're going to end up having questions, and if you're going to be the serious reader, as the foreword tries to hint about, you might actually want to review what you read to see if you could find any answers that you might have just glossed over. It's like the thing that I kind of came up across too. It's like I thought I missed stuff, so I thought maybe I glossed over it. But then upon reading it the second time, I kind of realized something else that's going on in this book. Now, this is going to be based on my opinion because, first off, Humphrey is a unreliable narrator. I don't even think I need to explain this to you. I mean, off the bat, he's in a holding cell in captivity for some crimes, and he's writing to the jurors to plead his case. This should indicate that whatever he's trying to talk about is going to be favoring towards him. Doesn't matter if he's trying to be as much truthful about everything he wants to be. He just wants to make sure he does not look bad. So right off the bat, you should know that he is going to be an unreliable narrator, and we kind of get this on the first chapter. So that's why, and that's kind of why I've did like an hour-long video talking about the foreword and the first chapter, because I wanted to talk about the direction that I'm looking at how the book is going and what I really think is happening. All right, and now what I believe is happening, and this is like I said, this is going to be opinion because Humphrey is an unreliable narrator, and therefore some of the stuff is going to be open for interpretations for up to the reader's point of view. But I think what's going on is that Humphrey wants to brag about the crimes he has committed. And I put down crimes with an S because I believe there's multiple incidences of him attacking and doing illicit deeds on a lot of people through the whole entire book. And when I'm going through it for the second time, I'm really noticing it. And I do have question marks as what really happened to Charlotte, because I kind of believe he murdered her. I just not relatively sure where at the moment. My assumption, though, I'm just going to leave this open for you guys to read. And sure enough, there's a lot of people that believe that no, she ran into the street and got hit by a car. I think the convenience is too convenient to say. And you have to remember that this book was made in the 1940s, before we actually have all this social media and internet and stuff like that, and the information on the papers. We're relying everything based on what is brought to us as if the forward is full and knowledgeable. And that's another thing I wanted to point out when I was talking about the forward and stuff, is because the forward is an expert who's supposed to know Humford, but when you're reading the book, Humford specifically explains how he enjoys fooling the experts, how he likes tricking the experts into believing other things, and how he would just sneak into their offices and read the memos that what the experts have on file about him, and he would enjoy that they are completely wrong about him. So whatever you end up reading from the forward, you're going to have to take it with a grain of salt, basically. And that's, I guess, the whole beauty of the book, is because it forces you to do some critical thinking, and you're going to have to like really look into the look at how the story is written. Okay. Now, I'm trying to control myself on here because I can go on a long tangent on a lot of things in the story, but like I said, what I think what's going on is very opinionated, and I'm not relatively sure that's going to be a very good review. But I think the point of the review is that the book is full of lies. It is very deceitful. It manipulates the reader, and it forces the reader to become a detective. So when you're reading the book for the second and third time, you're going to get your post-it notes, you're going to get your pens, and you're going to end up marking away to check these things out. And that's I think, you know what, this is probably all I'm going to add to this review for the moment. Now, I'm not really much of a reader to begin with. I'm not much of a reader to begin with. When I do read a book, I want to make sure when I read something, I really want to read it, because it does take a lot of my attention to do this. And I've been kind of like head focused on this whole entire Lolita book for over a month, which I think is really huge for the stuff that I'm really doing. And one of the reasons why I'm head focused on the Lolita book is because I was really trying to figure out how much is it compared to the Stanley Kubrick film. And I strongly believe, because the book is written by an unreliable narrator and it's open for interpretation, and the Stanley Kubrick film is shown in an unreliable narrator, once again also open for some interpretation. Both not really that much, because you pretty much know that there's something really wrong with the guy, but it is both comparably the same. Now, I don't have any interest in watching the 1997 film. From the trailers that I saw from it and stuff that's been hinting off about it, it seems that the film was made with the idea that trying to plead his argument and trying to illustrate that he is not that bad of a guy, even though he's slightly terrible. And I feel like it kind of misses the mark. At least from what I've seen from the trailers. And I just don't know if I really want to watch this. So anyway, this is Richard Stashy from Tinker to Tales, and I'm going to check to see how this video turns out. how to end this. So anyway, I want to say thanks for watching my video, and please hit the buttons. And hopefully it won't be long for the next one.